Thank you for having me on. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that more than 850,000 vehicles were stolen in the United States in 2024. So that's about one stolen vehicle every 37 seconds. One is always too many. What I would like to tell you today is that Michigan, although we had 21,600 stolen vehicles reported by law enforcement in 2024, we have had a decline of about 15% compared to 2023. So that's always wonderful to hear. And, I give nothing but all of the credit to our auto theft investigators out there, our law enforcement agencies, our state troopers, MSP's auto theft team, and more importantly, the Michigan residents, right, that help us to solve crime because they are normally witnesses that tell us what happened, or they call in anonymously, and we need that. It really does take the collaboration of everybody working together in the Michigan community to help get numbers down like what you're seeing and what I just reported today.
Is it a matter of people not locking up their vehicles or leaving things in their cars that are of value and people are enticed to break in?
Yes, I think that, education is always key. And we have to provide those consistent reminders to the people that we serve that listen, we want to prevent you from being a victim. And if you do, or, take care of the security measures like parking in well-lit areas, making sure that you don't, that you leave your doors locked, your windows locked on your vehicle, that you don't leave your keys in your car or the key fob in most cases nowadays, unless you have an older model vehicle. But either way, whether it's your key fob or keys, don't leave them in your car. Don't leave your car unattended, while it's running. Oftentimes, I think some people think if I have my fob and I walk away, people can't take my car. That's not true. They can drive off with your car if you leave it running. And then, of course, subscribing to some of the vehicle manufacturers' communication or emergency services or remote diagnostic systems, things like OnStar. Most of them have something that you can get a hold of. Of course, you have to pay for those things, but if you can afford it, those things do help because they have tracking available, other resources available that they can get a hold of us and let us know where the vehicles are so that we can recover it safely.
Do you find that those tracking mechanisms actually like work that you're able to track down the vehicle and get the vehicle back to the person?
Yes, we have had some success with that going all the way back many years when I was on the road as a trooper working every day. Those resources that are available now are absolutely great. In addition to that, we have plate readers and things like that that can also inform law enforcement, first responders that, there's a stolen vehicle in the area. We can collaborate, share that information, and again, recover those vehicles safely. But at the end of the day, what I would rather do, Courtney, is try to prevent vehicles from being stolen. And so we need for Michigan residents across the state. Doesn't matter if you live in Detroit or in the UP or in Southwest Michigan or even in Lansing, it doesn't matter. You can become a victim. So those little things that I just indicated earlier, again, I'll repeat them. Again, park in well-lit areas, close and lock all your windows and doors when you park. Make sure you keep your valuables out of sight. Make sure that you don't leave your keys in the car. Make sure you don't leave your car running. Those are things that are, paramount, very important to preventing auto theft. Of course, some of the other old devices that are out there still, the club and things like that. That's just provide one more obstacle for the suspect to try to get through. So it could take them a little bit longer before they can actually take off with your car. So there's nothing wrong with purchasing those things, but most anything that you put out here, they can find a way to defeat. And so again, those little things are what are very important. And we just need people to practice that and just remain resilient. We need to keep providing the reminders. And so I'm very appreciative of the partnerships with our wonderful media personnel like yourself, because that way we can remind people or let them know that this is what they're doing now. This is the method and what they're using now to steal your vehicle or make you a victim of crime. We'd like to share that so that we can reduce it and keep people safe and keep their property safe.
You talk about reminding people. This month serves as that reminder. Do you think that it helps having a month dedicated to that to maybe entice people to continue it throughout the entire year?
I think every little bit helps, whether we have a month, whether we remind people multiple times throughout the year. When we don't want to remind them is when someone is being a victim, right? As much as we can prevent that as much as possible. And so, I just like to take this time to remind people if you see something wrong, you need to say something. That's a simple phone call, into the state police or to your local police department, so that we can prevent this type of criminal activity from occurring. We want, again, for you to have your property. We don't like, I know I don't. I hate seeing people become victims of crime when it doesn't have to happen. And so they do, again, I value the partnerships with our media so that we can get this information out like we're doing today. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank you for that.
Colonel Grady, is there anything else that you would like to add that we did not talk about?
Nope, I just need for people to just, as a reminder, situational awareness is always important. Pay attention to your surroundings. If something is wrong, you know, trust your gut. And if we can help, please reach out to your police department, contact MSP, your local post across the state, and we will do everything we can in meeting the mission of keeping the state of Michigan safe. Excellent public safety services is what we strive for in MSP, but we can't do that without your help.